Science is entirely based on metaphors. If you think of the metaphors used in science over the years, they're many and various, but the primary metaphor is the machine. The 17th century scientific revolution was a revolution precisely because it shifted from the metaphor of the organism, which is what everyone believed before. The earth's like an organism, a living organism. The heavens are like an organism. God's an organism. Everything was an organism. It shifted to the idea that everything's a machine. So the universe was a machine, animals and plants are machines. And this has now infiltrated all our language. So people are always saying, what's the mechanism? Or, the eye's a camera, or the heart's a pump, or the brain's a computer. Or we're just like robots, according to Richard Dawkins, automated, genetically programmed robots. So mechanistic thinking pervades the whole of science. But then there's many other metaphors. The field, for example, introduced by Faraday, drew on all the normal English usages of field, agricultural field, battlefield, field of view, field of trade, field of interest. All these mean regions of activity. And so the electric field or the magnetic field were regions of electrical or regions of magnetic activity. So these then become all-pervasive in modern science. And then force. We all know what force is. We know pushing things, exerting muscular power. But this then becomes a key concept in mechanics. Energy, that which is in action, in work. The Greeks had the word energeia, but its particular use in English as energy, again, has a kind of metaphorical use. Energy isn't something you can pick up or get in a test tube. By its nature, it's moving and it's invisible. It has effects. It's the basis of causality, but that has a rich set of metaphorical connotations. Then the genetic program, using a computer metaphor for the way the genes are imagined to work, or the selfish gene, Richard Dawkins' personification of the genes, basically treating them like little vital factors, rather like cartoon characters running biology. All of these are metaphors. At the Big Bang Theory, at the origin of the universe, many of them, everywhere you look, you find metaphors. Of course, some of science is formulated in mathematical formulae and has a rigorous formulation. But you could argue that when mathematicians talk about extra dimensions, which they do a lot, quantum theory is based on them, these are kind of metaphors based on the dimensions we're familiar with. People often forget they're being metaphorical, and they take these metaphors as literal truths. The genetic program is assumed to program development. It's a kind of answer that seems to explain everything in biology. It's all programmed in the genes. Actually, we know what genes do. They just code for the sequence of amino acids in proteins. They don't program the shape of your ears or your hands or the instincts of a hedgehog. They don't program any of those things. They just program the sequence of amino acids in proteins. The rest is a kind of metaphorical fantasy.